didn't veto it, and I'm curious to see what he has in mind.
All right, Kev, with no further ado, let's hop into game number 1, Jaedong versus Genius. Here we go, Kev. Spawning in the 6 o'clock position on Polar Night, the blue Protoss player, Genius. There he is, looking pretty calm, cool, and collected. His opponent up in the 12 o'clock position, the red Zerg player, E.G. Jaedong. And Jaedong is looking intense, Kev.
Jaedong is putting his game face on. Now, if I have to make a prediction, what I think we are going to see from Genius is that I do think that he fancies Void Rays as well in this matchup, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see maybe a 2-base Void Ray with a bunch of charge loads, something among those lines. But once more, I think it's going to be very hard to predict. Jaedong on the other end, I think Jaedong is going to play pretty reactive. He's going to scout very thorough, and I think that's actually very easy on this map because this is just a paradise map for Zerg to put your overlords in good position. It's going to be very hard for Genius to hide anything, which is why a Stargate opening is good, because then after your Stargate units clear up the overlords, you might be able to surprise your opponent.
Genius sent such an early scout across the map. I think that was the same probe that dropped his first pylon. Yep. He sees that Jaedong is not going hatch first, and will be able to delay this hatchery with a little bit of probe harass. Nexus first is the opening from Genius, which is, of course, completely safe.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why he sent out that early probe. He wasn't able to block that that hatch for too long, so Jaedong is still going to get it down at a very reasonable time. I think Genius just scouts very early on, wants to make sure that he can get away with Nexus first. Some people go Nexus first, no scout, but those people live very dangerous, man.
A little bit of probe harass is going to force Jaedong to pull a couple drones off the line for a little while. Genius does have that Nexus down, and he is going to go ahead and drop his Forge behind it. This is an old school approach to the matchup. It's not one that has fallen out of fashion necessarily, but certainly not as common as Gateway Expand is these days.
Very curious to see if he's going to make a bunch of Gateway units out of that single gate and just run across the map and then put a Stargate, or maybe he's not going to go Stargate at all. This is a reasonable map for an Immortal push too. That's something we saw multiple times, and Oz did it a few times, and it looks very hard. Ooh, Jaedong is even going to go second hatch before Extractor.
This is old school from Jaedong as well, the old 3-hatch opening from our Zerg player. He's got 3 hatches down before the 4-minute mark, and he's going to have an excellent economy as a result of this. So too will Genius, as we see him just with a very cute pylon block, keeping Jaedong's Zerglings out, keeping his opponent in the dark.
Yeah, well, most likely cancel it. You don't want to shot yourself in this phase of the game, because that's going to make it very easy for Jaedong to figure out what's coming. 4 Lings will be able to run by.
Whoa, and 3 of them get in. That's going to be enough to really frustrate a probe or two. Cannon is in range of that mineral line, so 3 becomes 2, and suddenly it's less of a threat.
Still kind of annoying. Now we see the Zealot in production. Cybercore is just going down, so he couldn't really reveal his stack yet. But if Jaedong is very careful with these Lings, he might be able to keep them alive long enough to actually delay Genius's stack.
Kev, this is something I've talked about with Protoss players in the past. I've certainly discussed it with you as well, as Jaedong just trying to... Oh, he does get a probe kill. It is so much more annoying for a Protoss player to have to chase these Lings than it is if he has the Zerg player just suicide them into the mineral line and try to kill a couple of probes. Jaedong is doing this exceptionally well, just frustrating Genius.
He's doing a little bit of both, Ben. he's killing probes while keeping them alive. And this is already a phase where maybe Genius wanted to drop either a Robo or a Stargate. Now he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to reveal his hand.
Second probe kill, wow. Those are some pretty cost-effective Zerglings. And Jaedong continues to get a phenomenal scout of his opponents. This Ling's going to be running laps for a while, it looks like.
Poor Ling. I hope he's been working out a lot.
This is his workout.
So this is super comfortable for Jaedong. Jaedong knows there is still no additional tech down. He could eventually sacrifice Overlords as he's already been in good positions. The Mighty Ling will finally fall, but not before it's stalling Genius for a very long amount of time. Maybe a bunch of gateways gonna go down.
Whoa, whoa, 4, 5 gates go down. Will there be a 6th?
Wow. I wonder if Genius wanted to do this or because he was forced into it because it's late. Just a straight up gateway attack. Taking a look at the gas, I don't think speed is researched yet.
No, it's not. It should be starting now. No, Jaedong, this is a dangerous game you're playing. goes layer before speed. Slow Lings and 11 extra drones are not going to be very good against this 6 gate. Jaedong needs to plant a Roach Warren. He needs to scout this. He has no idea right now what's going on.
Jaedong has absolutely no idea. Still no speed on the way. I think it's almost impossible that he keeps all 3 bases alive, but he might be able to save 2.
This might be just a game ender. Slow Lings in the middle of the map still will not see anything. The pylon is already up. And the Zerglings are not going to see it. Are you kidding me right now? Unbelievable. Now he's going to see it. But it might be too late. Roach Warren is building. 16 more Lings are on the way. Zergling speed is on the way. But this attack is knocking at Jaedong's front door already. Overlord's going to fall. This might supply block Jaedong. Takes him down to 83 of 86 supply. It's going to be very hard to make units. Jaedong's in a lot of trouble.
This pylon is fantastic actually for Genius, because that's going to make it so much easier to reinforce. Queens are coming off the line. There are 22 Lings on the way. Right now it's only Stalkers, and Zerglings are good.
But the Lings are so slow. Time Warp's going to make them slower. Here comes the Zealot reinforcements. Jaedong trying to get Roaches out. Cannot produce too many units because of the supply block. 5 Overlords about to spawn. Roaches being built as quickly as they can, but the Roach Warren goes down. That means these 7 Roaches are the only Roaches Jaedong's going to get.
7 is quite a bit though, but this pylon is just absolutely fantastic. I have no idea how Genius got it down there, but that's a game changer.
Lings trying to engage on the Stalkers, but Jaedong's natural is being ravaged. The Roaches coming forward, a new Roach Warren being built. But Kevin, this is already snowballing so wildly out of control. The Zealots are so capable of dealing with the Zerglings, and the Roach count is too low for the Stalkers.
So many Protoss units still alive in the natural of Jaedong, and the EG Zerg is in a lot of trouble, man. There's no other way to
Queen
put
goes
it.
down. I think this might be curtains, Kevin. The Roach Warren's going to finish up. Jaedong doesn't even have money to produce units, and if he did, he wouldn't have the larva for it. This is just a terrible situation for our Zerg player.
A few more additional Lings on the way. Queen will spawn, but there are way too many Protoss units inside. And this was an excellent response from Genius. The way that the early game played out, his stack would have been very late, and he's just like, you know what, I'm just going to throw down 5 gates. Maybe it was his plan all along. That's something we can't possibly know, but I do think it was a very good way to respond.
Up into the main goes Genius. All the drones are here waiting, and there is nothing at all to defend. Good game. And just like that, Genius goes up 1-0 in this series. That was a pretty impressive performance. I got to be completely honest with you. Like you said,
It was very impressive. No, nothing. you know I'm a big fan of gateway attacks, man. I execute them.